I just got rid of my dream Toyota FJ Cruiser that I spent the last 5 years perfecting and bought this, a 2007 Land Rover LR3. All I gotta do is convince myself and the internet that I'm not out of my mind. So let's try to do that. I don't know. So this is my new to me 2007 Land Rover LR3 with 177,000 miles on it. I have loved Land Rovers from afar for a very long time. As a younger guy, I love the Disco 2. Like, it's just the style of it, just the rugged good looks. I was so into them, but then you start looking at them and you see that they were so unreliable that the Discovery name went away. they changed the name from the Discovery 3 to the LR3 in America because they were just known to be so unreliable. But as I got rid of the FJ and I needed a new vehicle and one that fit my family, that had 7-ish seats, one that had the cargo capacity to fill all of our gear and the dogs go on adventures, and one that was just off-road capable to start with. And that creates a pretty small list. There are a lot of Toyotas in that wheelhouse. 4Runner. Sequoias, things like that that are, that can definitely get the job done, but are very expensive compared to this. This vehicle was under $5,000, and it's kind of hard to ignore when you have something that looks this good. Like look at the paint, look at this thing's in amazing condition. And it also came with a Carfax about this thick with every single record from a dealership or a Land Rover specialty shop.
This is old money.
They babied this car. It was a pavement prince. And so to get something that was this well looked after for the price that I got it for just seemed like it was almost a no-brainer. Though the brain part being that the internet will tell you it's not a good idea to buy Land Rover products. They aren't as robust, aren't as, bulletproof, reliable as Toyotas, but I want to push back on that a little bit with the LR3 specifically, and we'll get into that when we get on the road. But let me just take you around it real quick, show you what I got, and we'll go from there. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about why this might be an okay gamble, and we'll start up front with the engine. Discovery 2 had this ancient Buick engine that was so unreliable, like it was blowing head gaskets left, right, and center, and it really tanked the name of the company in America. That engine's gone and is replaced with a Ford-derived Jaguar V8 that puts out 315 horsepower. I say Ford-derived. The Land Rover was underneath the ownership of Ford, I believe, at this time, and they used a lot of their parts and a lot of their design philosophies when they were putting this product together.
Mofo Co.
These are kind of known to be a lot more robust and more reliable. Actually, the most reliable Land Rover that they've made has this engine in it. So,
hey, when the bar's on the ground, you can only go up from there.
That's right. But I've seen online, you see tons of these things at the 250,000 mile mark, and people are saying it's not like the engine seems to want to keep going. Like, you just keep it maintained, and it just keeps going. So that is pretty heartening for someone like myself just now getting into these things. The other thing that may tilt the reliability teeter-totter away is the air suspension. Gone from the Discovery 2 is the solid axles front and rear, and it has 4-corner independent air. And people really don't like that, especially off-road. Like it just spooks a lot of people. But I will say that all 4 airbags on each corner, they're all original to the car. They're all date coded to 2007. So they've all gone almost 200,000 miles, which is pretty heartening for me. I've had to dig into it a little bit. Like this thing it had some issues, but one was that we're losing some air in the front, and I replaced a valve block, which was like a $50 part, and that video will be coming up in the near future if you guys want to see me actually digging into this thing to start. And that did help with the issue with keeping the suspension level. I think there's still a little bit of leak, and that might be these airbags being just exhausted and done, but they did go almost 200,000 miles. So if I replace them, I feel like I'm gonna be good for the foreseeable future, and they are not that expensive or difficult to do. So, and I can just use these kind of leaking ones as a backup, like an emergency, like just in case if I'm out on the trail. So I'm not as concerned about the air suspension, and it will raise and lower, and you can actually, there are tools that let you adjust electronically how high they go. You can literally just create your off-road height like as you need it, and then lower it back down for regular on-road driving. And so you kind of get the best of all worlds with that. And this thing was designed to be a world eater. Like they had a lot of faith in getting rid of solid axles. They thought this through when they put this together. So I'm willing to roll the dice, give them the benefit of the doubt, and kind of keep this suspension as is and just see how it performs.
Oh, it's a bat.
That's a bat.
There's a bat.
What?
There's a bat.
That's a bat.
Okay. A bat.
A bat. But this air suspension doesn't come by itself. It's not just its own thing. It is computer controlled and has a very, very well-renowned traction control system on the inside.
The first.
Yes, their terrain response system was like the first to market, and was like it's like A-Track for Toyota.
Without the creepy death sounds.
Yes.
Clunk, 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 clunk.
The last thing I want to point out on the outside here is the size of it. When you look at these things on the internet, they are they look really big. They look like this huge honking truck, super heavy. It's just going to be in the way, and it's actually a very nicely sized package. It's about the same size as like a GX470, a raised roof 4Runner, Prado, Land Cruiser, whatever you want to call it.
That's definitely mid-size SUV.
Yes, mid-size SUV. It has a pretty thin track, so it's perfect for trails because it's not this wide behemoth. It has a really tidy silhouette, So I was surprised by that when I saw it in person.
Since I have a 4Runner, something that I like is that this has like really proportioned doors. The rear door in the 4Runner is tiny, and the back door looks to be as long as the front. And I like that. It's huge.
That leads to like the interior. It feels huge on the inside. They somehow make it seem small enough for the trails on the outside and big enough for everything, all of your activities on the inside. So that's pretty exciting too. This interior has held up incredibly well. Like it's, like other than grippy plastic right here, all of this soft touch, everything is soft touch. It all feels, the leather is all in great condition. Headliner's in great condition. Like this one is the cold climate package. So it has front and rear heated seats, heated mirrors, heated windshield. It has
it's trippy.
Yeah,
it's wires in it.
Wires in the whole windshield. Like you have to get the glass insurance because like I'm sure that's so expensive to replace. It's super, super nice. I can't wait to start putting this on some trails. And then this green, I hope that this camera can capture what this Tonga green looks like. This was like the dream color for me to get this vehicle in. There's a lot of character in the paint, and it's super nice to go from like just a base white FJ, like white Toyota, to this shimmering green jewel right here. Yeah, I really, really like this thing. I'm really, really excited about it. All right, so yeah, so just kind of driving impressions and the final thoughts about this thing. I've been driving it around ever since we kind of got it fixed. Again, check out that video of us fixing it, getting it ready to come up here. We had a lot of fun with that one. But It's so comfortable on the road. It's kind of like it feels like a do everything vehicle. It's great in town. It looks great. It's great off road. Out here, it looks awesome.
It's so smooth.
Yeah, like, yeah, this is
soft.
Yeah, just the air suspension just eats up everything, and like it's like we're going over some nothing little divots and stuff, you know, but it feels just effortlessly comfortable, which is awesome. It's kind of just like, why did I get this? Why did I trade my FJ for this? As I said, I got this for all the reasons I mentioned with my family, you know, with my family size and wanting a kind of a more do-it-all thing that I can use always instead of just in the very specific times where it makes more sense to use the FJ, which was kind of just me and the dog, you know, like I can drive this thing as is kind of anywhere I want to go, which is awesome. Right? So I hope to get a lot more use out of it. And for the price of this thing, I just like I feel like there's something here, you know, like this vehicle is 1/5 of what it would cost for me to go buy my exact FJ right now. Like it's a fifth, and it has so much in this package. Like it has a V8, 7 seats with the fold flat, all leather interior, the 3 sunroofs. This was like a 2007 luxury vehicle. In this day and age, you know, like we're paying such a premium for Toyotas that it's kind of, you gotta just give these a second glance. And I do think you need to do your research on them, you know, like make sure that it has a good service history, not beat up, not neglected. Learn about, you know, the air suspension and stuff like that. Just, you know, any little hiccups that might be in the way. But I'm like, you're just not getting anything, you know, like stuff's just getting so expensive and you're not getting anything in this price range. If I can find one this well maintained for under $5,000, that's just, correct me if I'm wrong, Jay, but I'm like, I can't think of anything else in this price range that's punching this hard.
Yeah, so it's cheap. You know, you might be able to find a 500,000 mile V8 4Runner for this price, maybe. Even that might, you know, maybe a really rusty, beat up 3rd gen 4Runner. You know, you're going to be looking at 30-year-old plus vehicles at that price point to have this kind of an engine, this much refinement. Like, I don't think there's much out there. You know, I don't know if there's some unibody type stuff, but as far as body on frame, V8, 4-wheel drives, I can't think of anything.
Yeah. Like this thing's almost 20 years old. It's just so, it feels so premium still. Like you would sit in this thing and you're like, are you joking me? Like it doesn't make sense. That kind of leads to like, okay, well, why is this thing so cheap? And that comes down to its reputation. These things they've just been thrown to the wolves as being like so unreliable. This is like you will, if you drive these out, you will never come back. You know, they are just not worth it at any price. I'm excited to try to disagree with that, because if you look online, you know, if you search Discovery 3 instead of LR3, there are loads of people in Africa, in Australia, in Europe who are driving these things constantly. They love them. There's tons of forums. They really treat them like world eaters, and they realize that they have to be maintained. It seems to be just considered a totally different caliber of vehicle overseas and not here in America. And then reliability wise, something I kind of want to talk about, like Toyotas I feel like they've completely changed the American mindset about what a reliable vehicle is. Like these trucks they're beat on. Like they're I feel like it's not really like when people buy a Toyota, it's almost like I can be lazy. I can neglect it and it's still going to be there for me. I'm willing to pay the premium for the Toyota because I can go 20,000 miles past an overchange and it's just going to be like, can you get to that maybe at some point?
You just manifest an oil change and you're done for a year.
And that's what a lot of people want to pay for. Like, I think Toyotas are good for 90% of people, because people don't want to think about maintenance. They do just want to get in their car and drive it and fill it with gas and drive it, and that's
no
it.
worries going out in the middle of the forest.
Yes, they want to drive out to the middle of nowhere and know it's going to start and get them home, no problem. They don't really have a connection to the vehicle. You know, people can like their Toyotas, but it feels like Toyotas are tools versus like this machine that you can really build a bond with, and you give your effort and your time to it, and then it rewards you back the other way. And there's nothing wrong with that at all, but like when you look on the internet, everyone's like, if it's not a Toyota, you're an idiot. And I do think that if you are willing to put the time and energy into keeping something like this on the road, it's gonna give it back to you. Like, you know, like that's something we learned with the BMWs, you know, Justin was just pointing out that, like, if you look now, so many people are buying these old BMWs and Mercedes and honing the crap out of them.
And they have a lot of miles, 300,000+ miles.
Yes,
on them.
even between our BMWs, you know, there's 500,000 miles between our two BMWs.
Yeah.
You know, and we redlined the piss out of those things. And like, but what's the flip side of it? We've had to do the Vanos, we've had to do the water pumps, and you know, you have to stay on top of maintenance. But they are, I think, reliable, and so I think it's the same with this vehicle. Like, we're just
full-size trucks out here today. Yeah, they're big.
Ooh, and we're going over rocks, and like that's what's fun about this thing. We're literally going over rocks, bumping and jumping around all this stuff, and we are cozy in here. This thing is like, it's super comfortable, just eating up all this stuff. So, but like. Yeah, sorry. So to put a point on that point, like I do think that, you know, when I look on the forums about these vehicles, you know, when I was trying to figure out if I should get one or not get one, it seemed like there were two camps, and one was, do not get these, they will bankrupt you. And then the other school is like, I love mine. It has almost 300,000 miles. I do all my work on it, and it just keeps rewarding me. And I realized, you know, reading those forums, I'm like, it seemed like the people who didn't take it to the dealership for every problem, who learned how to fix them and keep them maintained, they were running forever, causing them very little problems, and bringing a lot of enjoyment. And so that's my hope, is that if I'm willing to do that with the BMW, if I can just turn and do that with this vehicle, that, you know, I can showcase on YouTube for you guys that you can, if you do a little bit of research and try to snag a good one, you can get a good one, and you can go out and do all of these trails, all over the country with little to no modifications and little to no issues, if you stay on top of everything. The one thing, if you open that glove box, Jay, on the top, it's got two glove boxes. This is a Gap IID tool, which is like the #1 tool everyone online recommends, and what I purchased to help in my Land Rover adventure. It basically talks to all 27 of the computers in here and will tell you exactly what's going on with the vehicle at any given time. You can customize the ride height so it actually drives, an inch or two higher off road. You can set the thing into maintenance mode to adjust the air suspension, calibrate it, to find any faults. Like when I was trying to figure out what was wrong with my gas gauge, because when I purchased this thing, the gas gauge didn't work. So you never knew how much gas was in it. But I isolated that problem with that tool. I'm going to try to just do all the maintenance myself, see what it's like owning one of these things, showcase it, try to show that if you are willing to pick up a wrench yourself, which is kind of like our mantra this year, just pick up the wrench and go to YouTube University and learn how to do some of this stuff, you can own a very cool vehicle for not that much out of pocket. And it doesn't have to be a Toyota, and it can be excellent and can be fun. And that's the journey that you will embark on with us if you subscribe and like and share and follow along. So with that, welcome to my new vehicle. I hope, let me know what you think. Let me know, is this a good idea? Am I the dumbest person on earth? Like, this is, yeah, this is what we're doing. But yeah, thanks for watching.